Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing our complete collection of Super Nintendo. We have about 52 games in our collection, 33 complete in box, and 19 of them are loose copies. Some of them I'm not really happy with their condition because they're kind of beat. Some of them I'm not really happy with their condition, so I'm actively hunting for them. Super Nintendo back in 2000 to 2010 are very expensive already, and some of them are really hard to find. Got lucky with some of them. Super Street Fighter 2 I found in Goodwill's complete in box, and some titles that I got lucky finding them on thrift stores. After 15 years of collecting, I'm finally showing you guys my small but mighty Super Nintendo collection. These are timeless titles in my opinion that make up for the 16-bit library and shaped my gaming life. From Super Mario to Street Fighter 2, these are utterly unforgettable games, and without further delay, let me take you to a magical 16-bit journey.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come: the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
First, let's start with the consoles. There are multiple ways to play Super Nintendo: the original SNES, the Analogue Super NT, SNES Online through Nintendo Online subscription, the SNES Mini Classic Edition, and of course, emulator. Let's start with the Super Nintendo. I remember seeing the commercial for this, and I love the marketing that they call it the Super Nintendo. I also love the addition of the eject button, which I wish they added in the Genesis and the N64. The only thing I didn't like about this console is it shows aging just like the Game Boy. It has a discoloration on the exterior, and for that reason I sold my husband's original SNES to replace it with a better looking console. This console is best played with the CRT TV. We tried using HDMI converters, it just didn't look right. Only the Super NT will do. Next is the Super Nintendo Mini Classic Edition. This mini console plays on the modern TV. It has 21 games and it comes with 2 wired controllers. I really like the quality, especially with the controller, but my only complaint is just like the NES Mini, the cords for the controller are way too short. If you're playing in front of a big TV, this can be an eyesore, especially when you're playing Star Fox. My husband and I wasn't able to pre-order this, but we actually got lucky when we walked into a GameStop and it was fairly available. To be honest, I only played this once, and the only game I played is Earthbound. Earthbound is one of those games that I don't have in my collection and I don't think I will be able to afford. After that, I never played this again. I kept everything including the plastic used for the cords, and my husband did a great job of putting them back together. I got this when it was released at MSRP, but this have increased twice its value. I think it's worth considering buying this console because if you try to buy individual games, this will cost you more money, especially Earthbound. Next is the Analogue Super NT. I never played any clone system before, but majority of them are cheaply made. When my husband showed me a website for this console, we both agreed to pull the trigger. I promise you guys I'm not sponsored by Analogue. I bought both Super NT and Mega SG with our own money. I've been loving their product for more than a year now. First, let's talk with the positive. This console is compatible with SNES and Super Famicom cartridges. This is a modern way to play. You can set the output video at 480p, 720p, or 1080p, 60 frames per second. This is a raw footage on my TV without edits and capture card, and it just looks amazing. You can really feel the quality of this console from the hardware to the graphics, and I really love it. This came with a different color: the Classic, the SF, and the black version. The transparent version is now discontinued and we end up choosing the black color instead. Next, let's move with the negative. This is $200 and it did not come with any controller. You have to buy the controller separately, which is the 8BitDo SN30 gamepad, which I'll be talking about in a bit later. The problem I have with Super NT, it doesn't have an eject button and the grip is really tight. Sometimes I fear that it would damage my cartridges, especially when I try to play Chrono Trigger. I cannot rebuy that game, so I always try my best not to use that on Super NT and use it on my SNES console with my CRT TV. That is definitely one of the things you need to consider, especially if you're considering buying this console. Next is the SNES Online with the Switch Online subscription. This has 49 games, and to be honest, I haven't really played all the games. So far, the games that I've played is Super Mario Kart, Super Earth Defense Force, Star Fox, and Wild Guns. So far, I have not seen any lag or slowdowns for those games that I mentioned, so I can't really give you a precise review for the SNES Online. To me, it's worth it because there's multiple games that you can play on the go. Next is the 8-Bit Do SN30. 8-Bit Do is a company that makes third-party controllers. They have tons of products from modern system to retro system. They also have a do-it-yourself products to repair your own controller. This SN30 gamepad is such an amazing controller and is very comfortable. It works with SNES and Analogue Super NT. To be honest, since I got this, I stopped using my original SNES controller and I'm really loving the wireless controllers. I've been using the SN30 gamepad for over 3 years now and it's still working condition. Next, let's move on to the loose copies. Here we have Ultraman, Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Next, we have Gradius 3. Gradius 3 is a shoot-'em-up developed by Konami. Graphically, this game is beautiful, and I love the stage design. But by God, this game is such a punisher. The gameplay is so brutal, and on top of that, the slowdown is even more frustrating. This game didn't age very well in my opinion. Slowdown is more frustrating to me now than it was before. Or maybe I just have less patience for slowdown. I'm not sure anymore. Next is Ranma Half Hard Battle. Ranma Half is an anime I grew up alongside with Zenki, Dragon Ball, Magic Knight Rayearth, and Yu Yu Hakusho. So any anime video game is an absolute pickup for me. As much as I love the anime, this game did not deliver. The moveset is oversimplified, and there's no cool combos, and the music is bland. Also, this game is incredibly punishing. I still love the sense of humor, but I don't think I will recommend this game. Next is Super Street Fighter 2, Beavis and Butthead, Super Mario All-Star, Illusion of Gaia, one of my favorite run and gun, Zombie Ate My Neighbor, Mega Man X, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, Breath of Fire, Breath of Fire 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, Castlevania 4, Contra 3 Alien Wars. My first experience with run and gun was Contra on NES, and that game gave me nightmares. Only on my teenager years I appreciate run and gun games. I was able to appreciate Contra series, Metal Slug series, Zombie Ate My Neighbor, Turrican series, and Gunstar Superheroes. If you think Cuphead is difficult, then you never played this game. This game is so brutal from start to finish. This is definitely what tests your patience. Playing solo is impossible, at least for me. I always like playing this as a co-op. The graphic is amazing with tons of colors and beautiful sprites. There is barely slowdown and everything from the background and the boss battle are just perfect. The soundtrack is an absolute classic and the sound effects is just amazing. This, in my opinion, is one of the highlights of the 16-bit. This made the SNES truly a Super Nintendo. Next is Turrican. And lastly, one of the best JRPG of all time, Chrono Trigger. When I was trying to collect SNES, this is one of the games that everybody was talking about. I remember seeing this on Nintendo Power and I knew I needed this to be part of my collection. Chrono Trigger even back in the day was so hard to find, especially at a decent price. I couldn't afford a complete copy, but I met a guy on Facebook Marketplace who's willing to trade with me. I traded him my complete in-box PSP Go for a copy of Chrono Trigger and it was worth it. This game has one of the best soundtracks in gaming history in my opinion. The more you progress in the game, the music gets better and better. Premonition is one of the iconic tracks, and I personally love Wind Scene and Secret of the Forest. I actually have this on my iTunes. The replay value of this game is just amazing. There's a lot of places that you can explore, and also there's 13 endings to this game. I also played the DS port and brought it with me when I went to travel to Hawaii, and I lost it. After a fair amount of scolding from my husband, we were able to rebuy it again, and I kept it sealed. I never finished the game on the DS, and I heard there's an ending that ties with the Chrono Trigger on the SNES. There is a PS1 bundle and has an additional anime cutscene throughout the game, on top of the anime intro. Whichever port you decided to play it, this is one of the best JRPG that you shouldn't be missed. Let's move on with the complete unbox. Here we have Gym Power The Lost Dimension, Samurai Showdown, Tiny Toon Adventure Buster Bust Loose, Tetris and Dr. Mario, Mickey Mania, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is one of the games that we found on Goodwill. We only paid $4 for this over 10 years ago. I was so surprised the condition of this game. It almost blew my mind. I added the plastic cover just for an extra protection. This is absolutely one of the best finds in our collecting history. I have other stories to tell you, like how I find 2 Dreamcast games from a homeless guy, and how we pull a Mission Impossible to buy a complete unboxed Dreamcast with Orange Fire N64 complete unboxed for only $250, but you have to stay tuned for that story. Next, we have the Kirby Avalanche. Kirby Avalanche is a Puyo Puyo variant that plays something like Tetris. This is one of my go-to puzzle games. If you haven't played Puyo Puyo, I highly recommend looking into that game. The only thing I wish they added a better soundtrack for this game. If you're a fan of Puyo Puyo, this is a variant that I highly recommend. This is also available in the SNES Online. Next, we have Super Adventure Island. Here we have R-Type. R-Type is such a harsh game. This is an arcade port of R-Type 2, and this has 7 levels. And to be honest, I never passed level 2, but my husband made it to level 4. Can I do it again? Absolutely not. I tried too many times on this game. This game is one of the best looking games on the system. I just wish they added checkpoints on this game or add a novice mode. It would be nice to have a child mode, because my skill level is childlike. Next is an absolute favorite, Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challenger. We also found this on Goodwill for only $4. You can never find deals like this nowadays. This is another absolute classic. This game has an amazing graphic, epic soundtrack. I love the dynamic background. It also have the most iconic intro in the gaming history. I also love the addition of T-Hawk, DJ, Cammy, and Fei Long on this version. This game aged beautifully. New Challenger is visually appealing to this day. This is a solid addition to the franchise, and it's definitely worth the hunt. Next we have F-Zero. I'm still on the hunt to upgrade this copy. Super Mario All-Star, Clay Fighter Tournament, the classic Donkey Kong series, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, and Donkey Kong Country 3, which is one of my first games on the SNES, Super Punch-Out, Super Mario Kart. Next is Secret of Mana. This is my husband's original copy. As you can see, it's really in a horrible condition. This is one of the games that I'm actively hunting for, so I can replace this copy. Next we have Star Fox and Killer Instinct. I remember first playing Killer Instinct on the arcade back in the day. I gotta be honest with you guys, I didn't like it at first. Maybe because I have a biased opinion because I love Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and Street Fighter. I was reintroduced with Killer Instinct when I started dating my husband. He loves this franchise. The intro is definitely iconic. I mean, come on, who doesn't get pumped up every time you hear this intro? I love the graphics and I love the gameplay. I really like the combo breakers and the ultimate combos. I know there's only 10 characters, but it's such a rewarding feeling when you master their combos. This is a solid game in my opinion. I also got my husband the arcade 1-up version. I'm not sure if it's only me, but I feel like the arcade 1-up plays better than the SNES. It feels more smoother and fluid with the arcade stick. What you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. We also had to piece this together. The box and the game was $60 and the manual was only $10. We also got the music CD on eBay for $15. Next, we have UN Squadron, Super Double Dragon, Brain Lord, Actraiser, Legend of Zelda Link to the Past is one of my favorite games on the SNES. I did a mini review for this game and I will link that in the description down below. Next is Wolverine Adamantium Rage. We have The Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Another favorite of mine is Super Mario RPG. Super Metroid. Lastly is the Final Fantasy III. This is one of the gems in our collection. I actually bought this in Las Vegas in 2020. I brought my husband to Las Vegas to celebrate his birthday. This is actually in a very pristine condition. I overpaid for this game and I paid $250. I wanted to gift it for my husband's birthday. The only issue I have is that game store that I bought it from doesn't have pricing transparency, which I didn't like at all. We picked 4 games at a time and it literally took us 30 minutes just to check out because they have to look it up on eBay at the highest sold listing, which is scammy in my opinion. A lot of people are complaining about DK Oldies about their pricing, but mom and pop shop does them too. DK Oldies pricing is not new to me. It's always been like that for the longest time. I am so lucky that I still have local game store in my area that still price their games reasonably. I personally never played this game, but I've seen the graphics and it's beautiful and the soundtrack is amazing, but I'm gonna have my husband review this game for you. My husband review for Final Fantasy III, it's really good. Play it now. Thank you. That's it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoy it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and I hope I earn your subscription today. I'll be posting more collection video in the future and I hope I will be able to assist on your next game hunt. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!